Greetings everyone, this is Tony Holowitz, and in this tutorial I want to give you a quick overview on a couple of the items that you now get with the new Act Advantage. So starting April 15th of 2025, Act Premium Cloud offered a new type of software. In other words, they updated their old Act Premium Cloud software with some additional features, and that's actually what they call it over here on the left-hand side. If you click on additional features, you'll be brought inside, and the number of things you see here are dependent on the level of service you have with Act. They have three tiers: their standard tier, and also their professional tier and an ultimate tier. Most of you are going to be on the advantage tier, some the professional, but I just want to show you a couple of the things that the basic tier will get. So first of all, there's an online appointment scheduling component, and I'm going to click on that to take you inside. Now, in here, you can go through and you can set up different types of calendars, group calendars, personal calendars. You can put in your availability when you're available. You'll see in this particular calendar, I'm only using Monday and Thursday. You can look at submissions, things that have been put in, and emails that will go out. So it really gives you some interesting things to use. Now, full disclosure, I am not currently using this tool because I've been using another tool for quite some time, and I'd be more than happy to discuss those options. But I think this is a great starting point to have the ability to go see an appointment area where someone can go in and book a time with you and schedule it and get right on your Act calendar. That is a beautiful thing. And I think this is a great starting point for the people you are trying to reach out to. It's a great call to action that you can put in outgoing emails or on your website in different places so people can book time with you. And I'm an advocate for this as a starting point for all people that use Act. So these are the appointment details, and I'm going to go back into Act, and then I'm going to navigate back to the additional features to show you the next thing. The one thing I want to tell you about this is when you start getting into this, you have so many options on the way things work. It's amazing. You can really get in and customize things almost to a fault because there's so many options. The thing that I'm really excited about is the interactive quotes. So for example, you have quoting software you can now set up inside of Act. So if you offer products or services, you can make this a quoting feature. So if someone asks you for a quote of information, you can send a quote out. Now, I could spend a lot of time just in this area, but just suffice to say, what I want you to be aware of is if you want to see what quotes look like and the way I'm using it, here is an example of this quote. You'll see it will load. This is the prepaid well, it's not a prepaid program, but this came from another quote I have. But here are different quoting mechanisms for ice cream, a sample quote. The thing I like about this is you can uncheck things. That's why they call this interactive, because you can change it. You can also increase the quantity, and you'll see as you do that for different areas, things will go up in price, or the prices will change based on the way you set it up. You can also set it so they can't change the quantity. So a lot of things you can do with this, multiple features you can choose from. Let me go back to this area, and let's go back to the additional features. And next, I want to take you to an online survey. Now, I'm going to be real honest with this. I don't know how often you would use this. In all the years I've been working with Act, surveys aren't a thing that I've ever really been asked about. But I think what's interesting about this is now that this has been introduced to me, all of a sudden you can start thinking a little bit differently. Maybe if you have a customer base or prospects, you might want to send out a survey to see what it is their need or ask them some questions. So what I've done is I've come here and I've created a very simple survey. So you'll see I filled in some information. Now what's great is if the person filling out the survey does not appear in your database, they'll get put in your database automatically. So I've got Donald Duck, Donnie@donaldduck.com. I'm going to click continue. And in here are some very basic questions. So I could put in red, food, I don't know, bird seed. I don't know what I could put in here. And you can fill this out, and then water. Let's put that in there. Jazz. And then when I click on continue, this will get submitted and all that information will go into Act. It'll create a contact in Act for Donald Duck. And then inside of Act will be all that information related to Donald Duck. Let's go to the next thing. So I'm going to go back to the additional features and I want you to notice the web forms. The web forms are something that I think most people could utilize. For example, if you have a website and want to put a form on there that people can fill out and request information, you can set it up so all that information goes right inside of Act. So instead of you getting a form submission and then you have to enter all the information into Act to track it, you can do that. You can also do some different things. You can have drip emails go out to them if you want. After that form's been submitted, you can see different submissions of what's gone in. So it really works great. Now the form looks very much like the survey. So this is just a sample form. I didn't make it nicer or change any of the colors, but you can totally customize this to fit the information you need. And it does have the capture service as a part of it. So there's some really unique things here in Act and what it offers today and what you get for your money. There's other things as well, online event management. If you do webinars or some kind of online event, you can use that. A URL shortener, which I got to be honest, I don't know if I'd use all that much, but basically it just allows you to take a long web address and shorten it. There's email list verification service that, depending on the level of service you have, you get somewhere approximately $250 per month. So if you want to verify things in your database for email addresses for maybe a marketing campaign, you can do that. Another thing is a website chat service. That's another tool. Again, I'm on the fence on some of these things, how I would use these or incorporate them, but you should at least be aware of some of these options and the way they can work. And I'll go into some of those other things a little bit more later on. Okay, my friends, you have a great day, and I hope you learned a little bit from this. And I do think there's a tremendous value here that you're getting. You're going to pay the same amount of money for Act Premium Cloud and get better services and tools within the software, which is always a good thing. More bang for your buck. Okay, have a great day. Bye now.